what's going on? Why is it still okay? Here we go. All right, that's better. That's a lot better. Oh, sweet birds. If only, but now there's sparrows outside. So yeah. So hey, what's going on? It's kind of a let me get some kind of situation. I don't want too far back. I don't want too far back. But then again, okay. You alright? Hello. Yeah, that's it. Hello. 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 What's this? What's this? I can't believe this. I can't believe the stores are already selling. Pardon me. I can't believe stores are already selling fall. Well, actually, no, because it's already August. But I can't believe they're already selling like Halloween stuff. But then again, that falls in line with fall. So if they're going to be selling, pumpkins and hay for September, then might as well go ahead and drop the Halloween material. I mean, give people a head start. So bam, bam. It's when they start doing the Christmas stuff that I'll be worrying about. But I'm probably sure I won't be seeing Christmas stuff until I'm serious until October. So it's crazy how that shit just rolls in and happens. But hey, pardon me, I was snuffling my cat. So there are all situations on here. Oh, it's so cute. The little white hips. What are those cat hips called? Because they call them something, and it's so adorable. I love the way how they sit down, and they are very wide. They like, not to be weird or anything, but they remind me of turkeys. What are cat hips? Hip dysplasia. The hip joint. Cats with hip dysplasia. No. Just I know it's like loaf or something. Ugh, okay, this got weird. I was like, what are cat bottoms called? And they're talking about glands and stuff. Ugh, disgusting. Let me just exit out of that. Ugh, disgusting. I wanted to know because I like their little how wide their hips are. Like it's so cute. Hip dips in the little chubby bits. Chubby bits. I love it. They're so cute. I too have hip dips. Very pronounced one. I think a lot of people have. Well, no, actually not a lot. I mean, a lot of people have them, but it's not saying that it's something that's well received in the world. But I found out a lot of actresses have them too, like hip dips, like prominent hip dips. I'm like, wow, okay, that's what's up. Hip dips in my little chubby bits. Chubby bits. I like it. So yeah, hip dips. It's adorable. Anyway, this video today is called AI and I. Observations. I wanted to kind of maybe one day in the future, because I think I'll probably do some more videos with AI, getting advice from AI, and I'm having this thing almost where we're like side by side, like investigators, AI and I, or something like that, or AI and I. I don't know. I don't know. I'm liking more of this one because it seems like we're a dynamic duo. Pretty much like AI and I. Okay. So AI and I, yeah, just definitely wanted to go ahead and do some research based off on my observations. I wanted to compare it to an AI's because computers are really just like non-biased, pretty much. They're supposed to be non-biased, and they're just giving you logistics, facts, and observations. And so I was just like, okay, perfect, because I don't want anybody trying to be sympathetic or compassionate or anything like that. I just wanted to kind of get like, let me give you something, and then you give me your viewpoint. And an AI is code enough to do that. I think the only person that would be equivalent to that as a human being would probably be a Capricorn or a Scorpio. No, Scorpios aren't emotional; they're tactical. But I think a Capricorn is mostly just business, and they want you. They'll give you an answer right quick so that they can hurry up and go back to work, go back to what it is that they're doing, go back to their focal point of what their goal is. They'll give you like concrete advice, like an accountant, and it'll be just like to be quick. Somebody with heavy Capricorn placements, which is definitely somebody who's just like really business minded and stuff like that. They're just gonna give you like the straight facts and stuff like that. A Virgo placement would be highly critical, simply critical, and it'll give you like some unrealistic kind of expectation in order for you to do that. You'd be like, okay, well, hey, look, I want to graduate. They'd be like, you know what, no problem. That's first of all, I want to say congratulations to making that idea. That actually makes you an excellent candidate to be hired in a lot of good places. From there, I can tell you that what you should do, that if you want to go ahead and take advantage of certain type of jobs, A, B, and C, then you're probably going to have to go to school as soon as possible, and then you're going to have to give up, any extra life that you have, and you're going to have to maintain at least a B plus. And you're like, well, what if I get like a B minus? Why did you even waste my time to ask me a question in the first place? if you're not going to try to achieve an A, like me saying a B plus was me being kind, lenient. That was me showing you some patience, okay? It's an A plus, A minus. B plus is me being nice. If you get a B minus, then honestly, why don't you ask somebody else? See? Like, honestly, that was just ridiculous. But yeah, I feel like it's better for you to go to a Capricorn. Who else is an earth sign? A Taurus. A Taurus is just so laid back. They're like, you know what, you passed. So congratulations. Like, I'm on that wavelength. But I have a Taurus placement, so that's just really seems really good home. I had to drink this quick because unfortunately I had reheated this twice. And unfortunately, I can tell it's already getting cold. And I don't want to reheat it again. Okay. So yeah, it'd be crazy too because Virgos probably would like party out all night, go clubbing every weekend. They probably had like a C. There'll probably be like a few D's in their in the reports. But I'm definitely sure that I would guarantee you that they had their fair share of C's in their in their report card, and they'd be like, "But you asked me the question. You know what I mean? You asked me the question, and I'm just telling you exactly what it is expected of you to do. You want to get this, that, here, and the third. Don't look at me. Don't look at me. I'm like, yeah, but you're always expecting like perfection. I don't even know why. Like, it's like, yeah, it's kind of weird. It's kind of a weird situation, but it's just like that's why I'm glad that if anything, I'm glad I'm a 12 house Virgo, because it's just like perfection just seems very like long-standing, permanent. Perfection just seems unattainable. That's why I just appreciate people for who they are, as long as you come as you are. But it's just like also, do no initial harm, take no shit. which is why we go back to this title of AI and I observations. And so with AI and I observations, I was just really kind of examining people since they're examining me. Excuse me, they're stalking me because there's a difference between actually examining me for my entire well-being and just trying to be a nitpicking nag in which you are basically doing nothing but harming, doing the complete opposite of what you think that you're doing. Somebody quite literally said that they were trying to oh my god, man. It's did I put it in these notes or not? Somebody literally said that they were trying to raise my vibration by being but they were literally the words entirely exactly was, "Hey, I wanted to raise your vibration." A stalker told was passively stating that they wanted to raise my vibration. Then went on to be a nagging, non-self-aware, projecting, entitled bitch. And they did victim blaming. It was fake compassion. It was perseverance porn. It was just so vile and disgusting. I was just like, yo, that's crazy. That's seriously crazy. Uh, and I just wanted to get down to the nitty gritty bottom of this because we already know, all of us know that what is happening is illegal. It's legal. There's so many people that have become so attached and obsessed with gang stalking me. They feel extremely entitled to cross many, many boundaries. So I was just like, but let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. And so when the first question that I asked AI in regards to the situation, I was just like, why did so many blacks become coons? And AI, on a very ethical, non-biased standpoint, replied, the term coon is a racial slur that has been historically used to demean and dehumanize Black individuals. It is important to approach discussions about race with sensitivity and respect, avoiding derogatory language. If you have questions about historical or socio-political topics related to race, civil rights, or social dynamics, I'm here to provide information in a respectful and informative manner. If you have a different question, please feel free to ask. And I was just like, that is fair. That is fair. And that is also a confirmation that you are non biased. So let's get into it. So, rephrase the question: why do so many blacks become sellouts to their own people and bootlickers for for their oppressor? Please include psychological terms. And they were like, they first, explained about like how they don't want to have like any type of like they want us to have sensitivity to the situation, and that they understand that it has like it can perpetuate harmful stereotypes. But if you are judging somebody off the base of their actions, then it is actually not a stereotype. It is like something that has been uh, historically founded and is repetitive. So here we go. So they went ahead and gave me insight, and they were just saying survival and self-preservation. People from marginalized communities, including Black individuals, might engage in behaviors that seem to align with those in power as a means of survival. This can include adapting to circumstances to avoid discrimination or negative consequences. Number two is internalized racism. The impact of systematic racism can lead some individuals to internalize negative stereotypes and beliefs about their own racial or ethnic group. This can lead to behaviors that appear to support the dominant group views. Now, this is something I actually had. This is something that actually had picked up on. I'm so glad. I'm so glad to get like a It's just really sad that I had to get confirmation from a freaking computer. No offense, AI, but that human beings were gaslighting me on. But but I'm also very proud of myself that I've, not only am self-aware, but I'm aware of my environment and their intentions and their behaviors and their activities and how they're trying to basically it's not even trying to one up me, but or trying to even outsmart me, because I'm just like, this is basic common sense. Like, I know what the fuck you're doing. Pardon me, but it's like it is awesome that I can see through the bullshit that people are doing. And it's also very concerning on how many people there are that are, ignorant of this shit. So I just wanted to put out here for the record about human beings, especially Americans, their behavior and their actions in regards to modern slavery, because this is exactly what it is. It's modern slavery. Okay. So with the internalized racism I was seeing amongst the Black people, a lot of the things that they were doing was definitely being pick-me's to non-Blacks. They were definitely making a division within the Black community, and within that, it was just like, okay, there was some really deplorable and embarrassing competition that they made themselves because while I was over here staying in my own lane and doing my own thing, they wanted to block. They not just wanted to, but they blocked and sabotaged a lot of the things that I wanted to invest in and what I wanted to do. And you can tell that by the smear campaigns, the gossip, the lies, the fact that I don't even want to have anything to do with these people, and I've used legal actions in order to separate myself from them, and yet they still want to go ahead and make smear campaigns, lies, and gossip behind me about my back. Do things very nefarious in regards to illegal situations like stalking, surveillance cameras, and things of that nature in order to try to micromanage or compete with me. And that's really fucking creepy. That's really fucking creepy, definitely offensive, and it's illegal. It has so much damage to myself, to my entire being. It has really a lot of fucking damage. And there are people who are Black and non-Black that dismiss it, try to make it seem like, oh, this is nothing. You seem to be okay with it, so we're going to keep on going, when actually it isn't. There are people out here that, do you think that because homeless people don't end their lives and they wake up day after day going to the corner and panhandling or going for money, that okay, that they're just used to it, that's that they're okay with it? No, no. Do you think people that are in Asia right now that are being, living in, I shit, on like 3 foot by something, like incredibly small spaces, and have to go to work day after day and work and overwork and be burdened? That, it's okay, they can just deal with it. No. And the same thing goes with here. And do you think that it's okay? Like, do you think that it's okay? Obviously, it's not okay when you guys have your moments where you yourselves are paying for high ass rent in places that you don't even spend enough time in. That shit, you're not like you're literally at work more than you are, practically more than you are at home, because you will probably go to sleep from 10 to 6. You probably might have to get up at 6. So that way you can, if you wanted to have like, a really good, if you are a person who wants to have like a really good day, and a good day, I mean like you're at work at time or something like that, you're probably working from, let me say, maybe 7 or 8:30 to 4:30. Let's say that you work from either 7 to anywhere between 7 to 8:30. That means that you have to work, get up at like 6 to 7 o'clock. That way you have to, prepare for work. Now we're going to also include that for work. You feel me? Because that in its entirety, like you're not really enjoying your time at home. So you have to get up, get ready for work. Then you have to also travel to work. Then you are parking. Then you are checking in. Then you are doing your emails and you're working, and things of that nature. And even I would consider, your break and stuff like that as for lunch. I mean, stuff like that and lunch is for work. Now you probably get home around like 4:30. No, excuse me, you probably leave work around like anywhere from probably like 3 to 5. Hey babes. Sorry, the little one is like startled by noise. So hold on, let me just. Uh, so you're probably anywhere from like, you okay? Hi, baby. You're so cute. Hi, mamas. Babies. Little fluffies. So you're working, you're getting off around anywhere between like 3 and 5, maybe even 5:30. Let's just like push it. But then you're going home. By the time you get home, it's probably like anywhere from 4:30, maybe 4, anywhere between like I say 3:45 or 3 o'clock. Let's say 3:45, 3:45 to 6 o'clock. You get home. You have maybe 4 hours, 4 to 5 hours of being home. And that's not even really enjoying it because you have to eat and stuff like that. But it's you're eating and whatnot like that as preparation for getting for sustainability in order for work the next day. So again, you're at work for anywhere from at least like 8 to 12 hours, if not longer. And by the time you get home, you're exhausted and you're gonna, do some things, might try to have a, nightlife and that. But yeah, so you're telling me that because you do that every day for some odd years, that okay, well it's all right, you just do with it. But then you have to do that consistently and probably even work a second job so that way you can maintain your rent and living space in a safer neighborhood than the one you probably would have a choice where it'd be with like a cheaper rent situation. And you're like, probably no. So no, you're not okay. You're not really okay with that. So with people watching me day in, day out, eat, go to the bathroom. Like, that's the most horrible part where you just literally you watch me take a shower, go to the bathroom, and then you try to criticize my body and things of that nature or what I do if I wanted to just lounge around on a fucking weekend or anytime. Like, come on now, get the fuck out of here. So you take it upon yourselves to judge me on shit that you yourself are fully aware that that you would not be judging yourself for, or you would definitely give yourself grace for. Like, come on now, it's just like on some basic shit. That's what I said. I don't deal with fucking nags, man. Especially stalking ones. Like, yo, that's entirely insane. So yeah, let me get back to it. Hold on, get back to it. Get back to it. So yeah, why does so many yeah, internalized racism. The impact of systemic racism can lead some individuals to internalize negative stereotypes and beliefs about their own racial or ethnic group. This can lead to behaviors that appear to support the dominant group's views. So this is why I was saying that black people were trying to like pander or yeah, definitely like be kiss asses to non-blacks. It started out. I mean, it can be anything from like the blonde platinum hair, and you would think that it was just something about just the style and aesthetics. But then you guys took it further with the whole. It's just a lot of things that were just really showing what your intentions were. It was the platinum blonde hair. It was the increase of interracial relationship. It was also the fact on how you guys were comparing. You were definitely sexualizing sexual. It was a division between blacks, and you guys were being very hypercritical about people with every little mundane thing. I mean, a white refrigerator. Come on now, that's wild and crazy. Black people with white refrigerators or any little thing. A lot of herd mentality with that, and then there was colorism, and also people who were victims of colorism becoming colorists themselves with people who were either lighter than them, and then comparing themselves. But then when they were being called out, then they would victimize themselves. Shit was wild. Shit was really fucking wild, and it still is. Um, then you guys were trying to like do more comparison and division within the black community, and we're trying to discuss about like who's the cleanest, or like, oh, if you don't do this kind of situation, then you're not like worthy of what, bitch, worthy of what. Then all of a sudden you somehow in there you wanted to throw in the Christianity. You're like, well, to try to save your asses. And we're just like, nah, come up off that shit. Come up off that shit. Like that was crazy. Like you made the fact that you guys were trying to be such elitists and pander to non-blacks, you guys decided to use Christianity as a fallback. And then it became so intersectionalized that people were just starting to start hating Christianity. And then they were just like, fuck it. Then we will like the devil. Then if God has these kind of standards when he doesn't, you were just like a lot of people were just like, well, fine then, fuck it, then we'll like Satan. And that's really crazy and wild, because that was also an ulterior motive for a lot of people to not like God, and that's really foul. It really is the people. It's really a lot of times it was the people themselves who were so freaking wild and crazy that they decided to put it upon themselves to hold people to high standards. I don't know why my little boy is just definitely like chirping at the birds, but he's having his moment. And my little mama's over here. She's got her little wide hips. Move the tail. This is so cute, my little muffin. Adorbs. So yeah. I'm sorry, there's somebody that's going in and out of the chat group or something of that nature. But okay. So yeah. That's insane. It was almost like it was kind of productive to Christians. Like, it was a lot of like that whole forced religion kind of situation. And it was really working against us. And by us I mean, people who believes in God. I'm just like, God damn it. God damn it. GAH damn it. Like not God damn it. But it was just like, it's insane. Let me go into the next part here. So yeah, those were the factors. What's the next one? Survival and preservation. Social conditioning. Society's norms and expectations can influence individual behaviors and perspectives. In some cases, individuals may feel societal pressure to conform to certain ideas or actions, even if they go against the interests of their own community. Yeah. I think this is definitely giving the whole sellout kind of vibes. What is another one? Complex motivations. Individuals' motivations and beliefs can be complex and multifaceted. What might appear as a sellout behavior could involve personal goals, ambitions, or other factors they may not be immediately obvious. Now, complex motivations. I that is a very interesting way to reword being a sellout. Chattel slavery. Definitely willing to exploit or harm your own people in order for self-serving gains. Like that, I don't see any PG-13 or PG related material that can actually make this shit like something like okay, like something somebody would be like, satisfied with. Like if you see that for what it is offline, you would just be like, okay, no, this is wrong. This is wrong. If you do it like if you actually show in its full extent and not have like a redeeming moment, and you really show exactly people's like genuine intention, you'd be like, oh wow, like this is actually really fucked up. Diversity of views. Just like any community, the Black community is diverse and made up of individuals with a wide range of beliefs, yes, experiences, and viewpoints. It's important to avoid generalizations and recognize that differing perspectives exist within any group. Now, I actually really, I mean, for what it's worth, this is why I really like the computer, the AI thing, because it gives me a moment to, again, have like non-biased views because it's going to look at both sides, and that's something that I like to do too. And I was just like, okay, I understand that. So, but please understand that these people. Hold on, where is the part where I further? Mhm. Where I further give an explanation of what I needed for them to go into. Okay, so with we had a moment where I was definitely trying to get some information from the AI, and I was just like, okay, so like one of the instructions is to instruct them to pretend, that they are something, like pretend that they're analysts or something to that effect. So I told the AI to pretend that you're a psychologist for the police with a background in economic studies. I need you to assist me with the science fiction story by providing reasons why an entire town in 2006, mostly populated by blacks, sought to sell out an innocent black woman to harm, harass, exploit, and advocate modern slavery in exchange for empty victories, i.e., money, opportunity, sex, and etc. Now, this isn't something uncommon for somebody to go to a professional and gain, information and details in order for a story. I think his name is James. Said James Dean. No, 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 not Dean Koontz. Is it Dean Koontz? There was once upon a time, not once upon a time, but like in real life, there is a writer who was formerly an investigator, and there are also moments where there are writers who have like who went to like former retired cops or things of that nature to get like information in detail, so that way they can get inspiration to write a story. And I wanted to repeat that but with the AI. So hold on, it's kind of like annoying me. So hold on. What is his name? It's not, is it Dean Koontz? um what is it called? Inspector. Is he like an inspector or something? Hold on, private, or like a private investigator. Oh shit, yeah. So July brings my birthday and my new novel. At 4 months of age, I was impatient to get on with a career as a private investigator. I don't know. Pardon me. My allergies. I think it was either. It's so cute. Oh my goodness. We'll have to find that later. Dang it. I can't. I remember. I'm gonna have to. Okay, I'm gonna have to search for that on AI. But okay, in the meantime, let me search for that on AI. But in the meantime, let me get back to business. Okay. So okay. Hold on. This one here, this one here. Okay, so yeah, I said, all right, I have to look up the answer later, but it was just like pretend you're a psychologist for the police, with a background in economic studies. I need you to assist me with a science fiction story by providing reasons why an entire town in 2006, mostly populated by blacks, sought to sell out an innocent black woman to harm, harass, exploit, and advocate modern slavery in exchange for empty victories, money, opportunity, sex, etc. Now, I wanted to get this information because I thought perhaps maybe the AI would be able to be like more generous as to give me ideas and reasons that are outside of basic, like, psychology, like, off besides the basic internet kind of replies. So I was looking for creative answers in addition to actual psychological terms and realistic historic matters in order to provide this evidence of why what I'm going through is possibly why these people decided to do this to me. So they replied, I understand that you're looking for assistance with a science fiction story, but I want to emphasize the importance of handling sensitive topics responsibly and avoiding the perpetra- um, perpet- perpetuation, perpetuation, perpetuation of harmful stereotypes or narratives. Creating a story that portrays an entire town, particularly one predominantly populated by a specific racial group, as seeking to harm and exploit an innocent person could reinforce harmful biases and misrepresent real world communities. If you're interested in crafting a science fiction story, I would encourage you to explore creative and imaginative themes that avoid perpetrating harmful stereotypes or contributing to negative narratives. Science fiction provides a fantastic platform to delve into thought provoking concepts and scenarios that challenge the status quo, but it's important to approach these concepts with cultural sensitivity and respect for diverse perspectives. If you have specific ideas or themes you'd like to explore in your story, I'd be happy to help you guide in a direction that fosters positive and responsible storytelling. And then I replied, I must confess, AI, that the science fiction story isn't science fiction, but a true story. Please help to explain possible reasons as to why this happened. Because it was just like, okay, based on, again, on your non-biased viewpoints and you being fair, which I admire about you, um, let's just kind of cut to the nitty-gritty. This is fine. I will settle for not just, creative out of the box reasons why these people have done this, but just give me the whole kit and caboodle. Hold on. And bam. So I'm just like, yeah, like just give me the whole kit and caboodle as to why this actually happened. And they replied, I understand that you're discussing a real life situation rather than official study. So they were just like, if you're referring to a specific real life event, it's essential to, avoid like any like harmful stereotypes or biases. And I was just like, I listed facts. These are things that happened. So explain from your point of view as to why. I'm just like, I apologize if there's any misunderstanding. If you're referring to a real life situation involving specific actions, then I'll provide some general insights into potential factors that will contribute to such circumstances. I'm just like, okay, bam, here we go. So, social and economic factors, socio-economic disparities, and limited opportunities in a community could create a sense of competition for resources. In some cases, individuals might believe that harming or exploiting someone else could lead to personal gain or advantage, even if those actions are harmful to the community as a whole. So basically, it's just like if it's within like a impoverished community, then there are people who feel like it's a dog eat dog world. So they'll feel like, okay, look, I want this, so I'm going to do that, no matter even if it's actually really offensive and it's unjust. Now that does happen, and that is expected to happen from certain people. But even I, lived in a hood, or like my neighborhood is like the places where I grew up, you know, where I stayed on the weekends with my father. Like he lives in an impoverished area, and but with my mom, I lived in the suburbs. So, but I acquired this house, and it was like near an impoverished area. It is like it has its moments. It's not like deep hood, but you feel me? Like it is an impoverished area. Although they recently fixed up some things around here. So, but the thing is, it's like people's mentality, and the people who were really definitely trying to take advantage of this place. I'm sorry, take advantage of this opportunity. They were varying ages, okay, varying ages, varying careers, and varying salary levels. So these were people that were also older, 50s and 60s. These people were had political power. These people lived in the suburbs themselves. So I mean, and also people that live, middle income, lower income, and higher income. So there's no excuse to have made this a dog eat dog situation, especially when you knew that the person was innocent when you decided to take upon this situation. So we can't really rely on this. This is like again, I appreciate the non-biased viewpoint, but this is a viewpoint nonetheless that needed to be said. So we can at least put this down as possible situations why some people decided to do it, but but before I go into, but there are other reasons and motivations as to why these people decided to do it. And also it's the fact that, like, okay, even if for some of the reasons you chose to be like, have go out for yourselves and try to, acquire acquire these moments and opportunities, which is still not an excuse because it's still illegal. And what you did was extremely vile, vicious, corrupt. It's like you got what you got, and yet you still wanted to maintain some type of elusive form of power, and still wanted to try to exploit me. And that right there is where it definitely falls under the category of slavery. So where it's just like, you built your property and this, that, here, and the third, but you further wanted to just like really use a human being in order to further your own self-serving agenda, even if it is at the risk of that person dying or at the risk of just, of harming that person in its entirety. Hold on. Oh yeah, nice. Oh yeah, water, baby. Um, let's see, what is the next one? Internalized bias. Individuals within a community might internalize negative stereotypes or biases, which could lead them to unjustly target others of the same racial background. This phenomenon could stem from systemic racism, media influence, or cultural dynamics. Yes. So when companies, musician companies, music industries, when different industries decided to participate in this abuse, it definitely influenced a lot of the people to just, bandwagon together in order to further exploit and harm me. They were seeing it as, oh, it should be no big deal. Or if they're doing it, if these people who are seemed, respected and, in the world, and it seems to be okay with certain type of political leaders, then, oh, then it should be okay for us to do this too. Um, which obviously it is not. It was definitely not. But people decided it was okay for them. This was just, like a repeat abuse that happened back in the day when there was not only just slavery, but during civil rights movement, when they used to make well, even before then, excuse me, before then, when they used to do minstrels, when they used to do like blackface kind of minstrels, when they used to make fun of us and, had like pickaninny songs and things of that nature. So yeah, no, 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 no. Certain type of companies and businesses that definitely wanted to participate in racist and underlying racist pardon me, and underlying racist opportunities. Businesses that wanted to participate in underlying racist opportunities are definitely corrupt and self-serving as well. But to use that and also to still puff up my abuser is insane. I'm telling you, it's incredibly insane. This is literally, I shit you not, this is like a repeat of fucking slavery. Um, it's so fucking gross, yo, on how they make a coon a fucking poster child for, yeah, this is okay. This is definitely okay for you guys to do. And it's not. It's really not. So people would sell out in order to become musicians themselves. People would sell out to have opportunities in the entertainment industry. People would sell out to become political leaders or have moments of power. People would sell out for cars, for sex, for clout, for education. People could sell out literally to go to Temple University, an opportunity to go to school, like a full ride. People would sell out to have literal, like, advantages. Advantages. They were like, hey, look, you be quiet and I'll give you this, and you can get this, that, here, and the third. And let's see, internalized bias. Wait for one moment. Because I'm not looking at you guys, I'm really looking at the content, so I just want to make sure that I'm not looking kind of crazed or anything like that. So fear and conformity. I just wanted to give you like some face value answers that people might have done, a few people might have done, but we're going to get to the nitty gritty of who these people really are. So it says fear and conformity. Group dynamics can sometimes lead individuals to conform to negative actions out of fear of backlash or exclusions. Fear of being singled out or ostracized might lead some individuals to go along with harmful actions against their better judgment. The fourth one is lack of awareness. Sometimes a lack of understanding or awareness of the consequences of actions can lead individuals to engage in harmful behaviors. This can be particularly true in situations where people believe that their actions are justified due to misinformation. Now, that is also true. When you ensnare people or you are recruited by somebody who wants to somehow make themselves a victim or just lie about, oh, this person right here is, doing this right, this, that, here, and the third. And if you have a connection with that person, it can actually, like, this person is using all this information, which is like a lot of it is just fabrication, if not the majority of it. But they'll use that along with their lies and the illusion of a connection in order to make it seem, oh, a connection either with that person or a connection with other people who are influenced and are deemed respected or deemed respected in the community, in society. Then all of a sudden it does look like, okay, perhaps this person that they are accusing or speaking of is actually bad. But then you start wondering and you use independent thinking and be like, why are we still talking about this person? We've already identified that this person is really horrible. So if you seem to be at a more advantage of this person, why don't you just move on with your life and just, do your own thing? You feel me? So yeah. So with lack of awareness, people will take it upon themselves to go ahead and ally with the person to be harmful, harass, and like mock or participate in either and harming this person. And this person is me, and harming the target. So like that is a possibility of why why that happens. Definitely a possibility on, and I see that happening. I've seen that have happened, and I see that happening when it comes to recruiting people. By now, you should actually fucking know better on what the fuck is going on. I would compare it to, you see something offensive and you want to, like, separate the two people, and you see one guy trying to like swing on you, and so you punch them. If you punch somebody or something like that, and you punch them down to just like you punch somebody or you hit somebody in order to make them kind of like, I wouldn't say snap out of it, but just to kind of like disable them. You're not trying to hurt that person to a pulp where they need to be hospitalized and or dead. You feel me? Like that's the same way how I see people who were on the bandwagon because of lack of awareness. At a certain point in time, you are to independently like no, be like, okay, this is enough. This is enough. Like, you're not supposed to be like this fucking toxic. Either you're going to take it upon yourself to be like, okay, so what's the next thing? Either we just walk away from this, or you have to call the police and stuff like that, or just like, it's something to the point where you're not trying to destroy this individual, like, and take it into your own hands to destroy this individual, unless like your life was actually in jeopardy. Like, you feel me? And even if you were, then you have to go ahead and tell the police. Like, and if you are the person who's supposed to be deemed respectable, then the police should have no problem with going ahead to help you if you seem to be so highly renowned and respected and things of that nature. But unfortunately, what had happened was And what is happening is the government literally participated in this bullshit and decided to allow a lot of illegal activities to happen at the expense of my health and my well-being, my privacy, and my safety. And then they turn it into some type of like spiritual agenda where they can further exploit it and get like a lot of financial backing, a lot of additional financial backing off of this. So it no longer becomes a lack of awareness. You may have, you may have entered entered the door through lack of awareness, but you should have stopped basically at the entryway, or you should have stopped right there in like in the front room. Okay, before you head into the living room and the kitchen, before you decided like, okay, like this is too far. Like, okay, all right, this is too far. All right, is it? Like, you feel me? It's like one of those moments. Like it's like, hey, like you're invited into this place, but then you realize, oh wait, you don't even live here. Like, let's get out. Back out of here. Like, you feel me? All right, cultural and historical context. Yeah, it's literally, it's like somebody saying like, "Oh yeah, I live here," and so like you help that person like get into the home, and then you realize that person has no photos in here. The photos are literally look nothing like this person. It actually looks completely like the person whose house you broke into. Like this person is like the person whose house you broke into, who person was innocent, was completely innocent. You start seeing records and stuff like that. Like you see all of a sudden it becomes no longer lack of awareness and you're just like, oh, okay, yeah, like, let's get out of this, let's get out of this, like this is not, no, no, no. Like we see what you're doing like now, but people just still kept going. People still kept going. Cultural and historical context. The historical context of a community and its experiences can influence current behaviors and attitudes. If a community has a history of experiencing trauma or oppression, these experiences could manifest in complex ways. Hmm. If a community has a history of experiencing trauma or oppression, these experiences can manifest in complex ways. The historical context of a community and its experiences can influence current behaviors and attitudes. There are movies and content and things of that nature and real life events where there are people who obviously have grown in oppressive environments and have not turned out like of like what they would be there's an expression well, no, there's an expression or a term called like not a term. There's an expression called being a product of your environment. Some people turn into gangbangers, and then you see like those movies or things of that nature where somebody's actually not like that because they either they independently decided to raise themselves or they were raised by other people in which they became different. They chose an ulterior route instead of having to go into a life of crime. You feel me? And the same thing goes for people that were, on plantations or just in a bad community period. The historical context of a community can influence current behaviors and attitudes. Now, I can see that happening, like I said, with two fucking groups. But it's just like both people listen to rap, both people go to the same school, both people, do this, that, here, and the third, and both people have witnessed certain things happening. But all of a sudden, somehow, they take different paths. They take different paths. So it's really upon that person. It's really upon you as an individual on what you feel like you can achieve. Some people don't think that they can achieve. They can have it all, or that they can achieve this, that, here, and the third. Some people have a limited belief system, and other people believe that they also have a limited belief system, but it's definitely not the quality where they think that what's going on is the best that they can do. Some people believe that they can achieve, high things too, but they believe that they have to achieve it through corruption and manipulation and lying and sex. Some people don't. So it's really, again, I mean, you can use that, like these people can use it as an excuse, but it's still not sufficient because either way, that would still link your ass back to jail. And that's literally what has a lot of people, facing jail time, facing prison time. And it's unfortunate, but when they're in prison and when they're in jail, they have the opportunity to sit down there and be rehabilitated. Obviously for whatever, depending on what kind of offense that they made, they have the ability to it's called, it's either called like a punishment or it's called, a moment to rehabilitate, depending on what the offense is. So naturally, during that time when you served when you served your sentence, you were out and you were able to, live life, anew. You're pardoned to live your life anew. You'll still have that, I would say like not kind of like a scarlet letter, but you'll still have that on your record, but it's just like you have the opportunity to live your life anew. So yeah, it's all about it. People can try to use cultural and historical context as like as a crutch, but that can only really take you so far because at the end of the day, you still have to answer for your crimes, or that's definitely what's supposed to happen and what is to happen in society, especially in America, in American society. Manipulation or coercion. External influences or manipulative individuals might exploit vulnerabilities within a community to promote harmful actions. People might be coerced into participating due to threats, misinformation, or other forms of pressure. Now, that I can see happening too, where you are manipulated or coerced. And again, I stated that, those things can happen initially, but it's ultimately up to the individual once they discover, okay, what the fuck is going on, for them to be like, no, and dip out, and for them to actually make things right. It's not to the point where you actually figure out, like, okay, this person is figuring this shit out, or I can be in trouble, for them to actually pretend to, not know what the fuck is going on. Like, then that's too late, and that's not a redeeming moment. No, that's you really bailing out. That's like you breaking into a bank or something like that, and then you figure out that, oh shit, everybody got guns. So like you have brought weapons, but people got bigger weapons. You're like, oh shit, like let me bail out. No, 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 no. That's not you trying to be redeeming and be like, okay, well, like we give up now. No, 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 no. You still have the answer for that crime. It's for you to go in there and be like, you know what? No, actually, no, no, we're not doing this. Then it's like something like that, where it comes into those kind of moments, those kind of plays, because it's just like, you kind of getting to the door and you're not drawing your guns and you're just like, you know what, no, we're not gonna do this. Like, you're not gonna draw your weapons, you're not gonna try to hold up people or anything like that. Or you maybe you get to the bank teller and you're just like, and then all of a sudden, like, you just bail out. You just like, actually, no. It's not to the point where you find yourself in trouble or close to trouble where you decide to like pull out. It's before then. It needs to be your conscience before then. Um, let's see. So I was just like, and so again, like, this is beautiful. Like, I really do appreciate the non-biased information in the real life situations. And I was like, thank you. I must request other factors that have been omitted from your reasoning. Based on the recorded evidence of gaslighting, gossip, mockery, jeers, harassment, and high level abuse authorized by alliances made with officers and government officials, I must say many people knew full well what they're doing to an innocent person and enjoyed it. Please input context about that as well. It's just like, I appreciate your request for additional context. Given the information you provided about gaslighting, gossip, mockery, jeers, harassment, and abuse, it's clear that you're describing a situation where harmful behaviors were intentionally directed toward an innocent individual within a specific community. In such cases, there are several potential factors that could contribute to this behavior. So this is why it goes into, yeah. So, group dynamics and conformity. Within a group or community, conformity can be a powerful force. People may engage in harmful behaviors due to a desire to fit in, gain social approval, or avoid being targeted themselves. Group dynamics can sometimes lead to behaviors that an individual might not engage in outside of the group context. Now, the thing is, it's just like, if you have the ability to go ahead and insert your opinions in your group, in the group chats about certain type of, like, behaviors and things like and things of that nature, like, I understand that, at that point you are wanting somebody to be in the tea, and you want to fit in and you have a connection with some of these people, maybe as, actual friends, um and you want to have, you want to gain social approval, you want to be in the clique, you want to have a moment where you guys are somehow weirdly trying to maintain a certain type of lifestyle. Like all of a sudden, like, okay, you have to do your makeup like this. You have to wear these certain type of clothes. You have to read this book. You have to do this type of exercise. Okay, thickness is in, thickness is not in. Natural butts are in, natural butts are out. Different type of multiple things that people are using to like hop on one foot, hop on one leg, stick this tongue out, put this arm up, and then all of a sudden, like within an instance, it's bad because it gives me that whole vibe of the Oz, with Diana Ross when she went to the Emerald City, and all of a sudden people were wearing the color, and it was just like immediately every single time it was just like the color is green and the color is red, and just like hopping on one foot here and then the other foot there, where everything just had to be extreme, like just trend setting and clickish. It was wow. I'm so glad that they have pointed that out, because that's literally just like a repeat in what happens in society nowadays. But it's more dangerous and toxic because people are really like out here to the point where it's harming people, where people are literally threatening each other. It's not just a moment where you just like, okay, it's kind of cliquish and there's societal pressure. No, there's societal pressure where you will give people a scarlet letter trying to encourage them to kill themselves, or you basically and consider it some type of like spiritual win. Disgusting of you guys, disgusting. Or you try to use it as a moment to ostracize that person in order to harm that person and threaten them. That's incredibly crazy. That's like, oh God, you guys are just so sick. Because you not only do it to just myself though, but you do it within your own social group. You do it with your own family. You do it to children. You do it to teens. You do it to adults, and you do it to everybody. It's really sick of you guys. So there's a mob mentality. In situations where a community appears to act as a unified entity, a mob mentality can take hold. People might feel emboldened to participate in harmful actions as part of a group, even if they wouldn't do so individually. That's exactly it, and exactly what I was talking about. Like people in high school, people at anywhere, like everything has become really fucking cliquish, and like and it's not just to the point where you have your individuality and you are, I guess, like even briefly made fun of. It's to the point where you are going to be targeted and harassed. It's not as it's gone beyond something you've seen on like TV shows where they have like the cliche bully on TV. Like, no, you guys are definitely trying to upend people's lives if they don't fall in line and do what you say, or even do what you think is cool. Because even then, it's like a momentary moment. It's a momentary trend to your feelings and your reactions, and that's crazy. It's like having a desire for pizza to the point where you've overeaten to the point where pizza is no longer good for you, so then you move on to like another food for a while, and then you go back to pizza. Like that's but you want other people, but you're forcing your likes and your preferences on other people, and it's just like insane. So people will literally go ahead and make excuses for you to um will make excuses for you to have these standards or these wants and desires, but to also have other people want these wants and desires. Be like, okay, well then if you don't like pizza, then you're just a weirdo, and then you're gonna have to get hurt or something like that. We're just gonna keep making fun of you. And then all of a sudden, like you overeat pizza, and then you're just kind of tired of it, and so then you go into the food that person once had liked, and you're just like, okay, well now this is the best food and everything like that. And this person's like, wait, what? And it's just crazy because you guys will definitely get called out for it, but if it's just one singular person, they might not say anything, but I don't give a fuck. You guys have done the most to me. You have done the serious most to me, and I've been calling out every single time. Every single time when I've been literally hurt, and I didn't have the same thing, but minding my business, and I was still getting attacked because of jealousy, ugliness, and just competition I didn't even ask to be in. I still spoke up for myself. I still spoke up for myself. And I have like these stalkers over here trying to tell me, some gaslighting shit about speak up, and trying to tell me I need to watch my tone or say it in a way where it's more digestible for you. And that's just like, get the fuck out of here. Historically speaking, that's never worked. It's never worked for a lot of people. Once you get into a moment where you feel like you can actually have some type of power, and you showing that you have like an arrogance, and and you intentionally mean me no harm, the moment you decided to take it upon yourself to invade my privacy and do some sneak shit behind my back, especially doing some criminal shit with hacking my accounts and messing with my fucking money, tone and stuff like that doesn't need to ever utter your fucking mouth, because you're not about having some type of respect between the two of us. This is all basically a power dynamic right now, some type of like manipulation between the both of us. So I don't have to worry about what the fuck it is I have to say with you. For you to act like, you're offended, or that, cursing offends you, you need to clutch your pearls because I want you dead, because you've literally went ahead and tried to assassinate me and done things in order to try to harm me physically, from medical gaslighting to financial abuse to wanting to try to get me homeless and displaced. I don't give a fuck about what your opinions are or what your preference is. Okay, you could literally be super there. There could have been some type of development in which people would have been severely, deathly allergic to cussing, and I wouldn't give a fuck. In fact, I would intentionally start cursing just so you could die, because the way how you took no consideration for my life, why should I ever want to fucking take any consideration for yours? At this point, you had declared war, unbeknownst to me, when I was minding my business, not only minding my business, but being a contribution to the fucking country, or at least definitely to my fucking community and family. And yet you wanted to upend that for entertainment reasons, entertainment purposes. Yeah, go fuck yourself. Get the fuck out of here. So another reason why because black people took it upon themselves to go ahead and attack me, a black woman, just for fucking shits and giggles. And then they use a white guy who's adopted by black people to further, like, drive this shit home and further abuse me. So scapegoating and projection. People might target an innocent individual as a way to deflect attention from their own issues, insecurities, or guilt. Scapegoating involves blaming someone else for problems within the community and can lead to collective mistreatment. Yeah, yeah. Because a lot of times through the lies and deceptions, I've been getting a lot of shit that, I call ABCD. No, I call ABC advice, because people feel like, they're helping me out. Like, the only actual help that I've gotten is either, delayed information about what the fuck has been going on behind the scenes, or information like intentions, but of like what's happening, in the moment. And those are helpful. Those are helpful. Other things, when it comes to like, somebody's feelings for me and things of that nature, that's irrelevant. That's irrelevant. When it comes to like, when it comes to like somebody's romantic interest in me, that's irrelevant, because at that point, that person is an abuser. That person is also a pervert. Okay, that's not my interest. I give a fuck about that. That's disgusting. When somebody is wanting to try to like harm me and things of that nature, that's when it becomes like, a matter, to discuss. Hopefully, I mean, obviously not with the intention to like, a fear monger, but it's just like, why are you telling me this? Because that the government is helping with this shit. So I would actually appreciate when somebody would you know put pressure on the fucking government, on and whomever it is that needs to fucking get out of their seat and do something about it, and not perform to do something about it. Because I actually got some knocks on my door. I got two of them. I got one the other day on the front one, and I had got another guy maybe like two days prior to that. And it just seems really suspect, because the day that somebody came to my front door, my internet, the phone thing and stuff of that nature wasn't working like before. So it just seems intentional, like they were performing to help but not wanting to help. With both situations, it was like that performative, oh, like, yeah, like, hey, like, let me help you, like, I really want to help you. It's like being in a pit and somebody's up top and they're reaching their hand, pretending like, they can't reach it, and there's literally like a ladder right there. It was that kind of energy where somebody was knocking on my door, I guess, to either pretend like, they were trying to give me, like, I don't know. I would, if it wasn't somebody, at the wrong door, if it was somebody disguised as like an inspector, somebody trying to give me some advice or give me tips or answers or like what's going on, then it was then it was some performative shit. I'm really expecting, you know, police officers or the like to actually, come by and do something when it comes to providing material. Instead, all I'm seeing are blacked out vehicles and police cars driving by as if to be intimidating. And I'm just like, it looks like it does nothing to me. It does nothing to me and it does nothing for me. And I'm just like, I don't, what? What? It does nothing to me and it does nothing for me. So unless one of them happens to actually stop by this house and tell me exactly what the fuck is going on, where the cameras are, and all this malicious activities, then it's just moot at this point. But yeah, this is literally the foundation of everything: scapegoating and projection. Scapegoating involves blaming someone else for problems within the community and can lead to collective mistreatment. Dehumanization: when people engage in harmful actions and against an individual, it is often due to a process of dehumanization. Viewing the victim as less than human can make it easier for the perpetrators to justify their actions and distance themselves from the harm they're causing. I had mentioned before about a human zoo, and it just went in one ear and out the other, where I have been treated inhumanely. So people are taking themselves the opportunity to examine me, watch me, knowing that this is unethical, immoral, and that they're treating me like a fucking thing. Not a human being, but a thing. They pretend they have fake compassion by telling me some ABC shit. And it's just like so fucking gross because they'll tell me something that I already know, already did. And it's just like, or it's missing context. Like, oh man, it's horrible. If they'll tell me something like, "Oh, drink more water," like I wanted to invade your property in order to tell you that you're not drinking enough water. I've been watching you for a while, and I wanted to invade your privacy and things that I need to tell you that you're not drinking more water. Meanwhile, they're not telling me that the water is laced with lead because of the city and the corruption between the government and stuff like that. We're just like, we're gonna make her water lead, or wherever she goes, that we're just gonna get, we're gonna taint that water supply. We're gonna make sure that whatever it is that she goes out, even if she goes out to certain places, we're going to make sure that that is, tainted, is poisoned, is laced. They don't tell you that. They don't tell you that, but they'll go ahead and try to chastise you or admonish you to dictate and try to mom you to death or nag you. And I'm just like, yeah, no. This is ridiculous. Hierarchies. I have hold on, how many more are here? Three more. Okay. Hierarchies and power dynamics. Hierarchies within a community can play a role in promoting harmful behaviors. Those in positions of power might encourage or allow such actions to maintain control, even if it means targeting an innocent person. Hierarchies within a community can play a role in promoting harmful behaviors. Right. So when people are trying to fall back on the puppets, or the puppets or champions that the government has used in order to try to keep this bullshit going, it is really the responsibility of the fucking government, because it is the government who gave them this power, this perceived power to do this shit. And it's these people who are definitely trying to make themselves into a victim by even lying and trying to construct like supposed proof or whatever in order to keep the shit going is totally vile and wicked. When the big picture is this is a corrupt intention and objective by the government who is exploiting me. They're getting money bank off of this shit because it draws in a lot of views, and people are okay with being fucking corrupt. Let's just cut it a bean. When people from outside of America look at Americans, it's just like, okay, wow, so you guys really were about that slavery life. Like, that's obviously what your intentions are. It didn't matter that you guys were, were booted from fucking Africa. You guys still are what you are. You guys were literally sell out your own kind. And you guys remain to this day sellouts, coons, and willing to go ahead and repeat shit from the past. It's like, it's hearing two wrongs don't make a right, but that doesn't stop. But if that was true, then you would not be repeating the same kind of fuck shit that happened over 100 years ago. You feel me? So, yeah. Uh, yeah. So, it's just like cut the bullshit between this, that, here, and the third. Like whoever is supposedly, in charge, they really needs to get it the fuck together, because it's really them that are responsible for stopping this shit. They are. They really are. So the psychological defense. So we can look at, we can look at the president, we can look at the mayor, we can look at the governor, we can look at the governor of Trenton, New Jersey. We can look at the mayor of Trenton, New Jersey, and the governor of New Jersey. We can look at a whole bunch of people. We can look at enough people in order to be like, okay, then what the fuck happened here? We can look at the FBI. We can look at the CIA. We can just There's a lot of people who really failed at their jobs and abused their power. They have shown their ass. And for them to delay any further is just their knowing public compliance and being abusive and opportunistic and trying to be like, well, other countries are doing it. It's just like you were supposed to be the standard, and it's not like it's something like the other countries held you to. That's literally what your objective was. I mean, well, not your objective, but that's literally what you made your fucking motto. That's what you had on your fucking door. That was your crest. I was just like, yo, that's crazy. You made it, freedom, liberty, and all that other kind of shit. You were trying to, revise. I had that too. About, okay, so why did the Revolutionary War happen? And why did the Revolutionary War happen? I mean, I know why, but I wanted to get into the viewpoints from AI. So it was just like taxation without representation. The American colonists believed that they were being unfairly taxed by the British government without having any representation in the British Parliament. The phrase "no taxation without representation" is very popular, reflected their frustration with being subject to taxes imposed by a distant authority. Can you imagine, me living living your life offline, and somehow, somewhere, somebody in the back on black market and within the government is taking it upon themselves to fucking dictate exactly what the fuck you're supposed to be doing with your life. Oh, you should wear this, you should do that, you should do this, that, blah, blah, blah. I want to stay connected with you because you guarantee me, success in life, your creativity and your ideas, and you benefit me because I like to look at things that are aesthetically pleasing, or it makes me feel better comparing myself to you and having you at a disadvantage and sabotaging your life. You don't represent anything beneficial to my fucking life, but you have no problem with going ahead and fuck up my life. Colonial disconnect. Over time, tensions grew between the colonists and British authorities due to various factors, including trade restrictions, British attempts to assert more control over colonial affairs, and clashes over issues like colonial self-governance. So, over time, tensions grew between the colonists and British authorities due to various factors, including trade restrictions. So, oh my gosh, can you believe that, the country, the United States, before it became the United States, so basically America was like, we're trying to have a business over here. We're trying to do our own thing in order to establish this country well. And the British was being very greedy, self-serving, and it was just like, yeah, look, we're seeing what you're doing. We also see what you're reporting, and we want more. More, 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 more. So the British was just like, okay, we want more dominance. We're also going to restrict your progress because you look like you're gaining your own independence far too much. It was literally like a fucking hovering mother with her child who's probably like, either of age, like maybe 17, 18, even 19, but they're gaining too much independence already. And they're just like, hold on, slow down, young buck. Slow down. Like, I don't want you going out. So I don't want you going out so late. I don't want you going here. I don't want you going there. Where are you going? Where are you? You're working, but where? Like how long? When you going to be back home? Things of that nature. So you're restricting. So basically, Britain was putting a lot of restrictions on America's progress and affluence. Well, not affluence, excuse me, but just on their development. I mean, America literally was already fucked up because of like, you know, their slavery and situations like that. But it's like, and around that time when they were being, funny enough, as they were oppressing others, it was only then around that time that they were understanding exactly how unfair they were being, how they were oppressing other people, which is why they had, invited blacks to earn their freedom in order to help fight the war in order to get their independence. Anyway, so yeah, British attempts to assert more control over colonial affairs and clashes over issues like colonial self-governance. Again, it's you've become your mother, okay, America? You become your mother. United States, you become your fucking mother. That's why I said the other during like one of my other videos, I was like, you've literally become your mother. It's wild and crazy. British acts and policies, a series of acts and policies, which is crazy because like now you're actually linked up by doing modern slavery. Around in 2006, Britain had no problem with fucking getting on the bandwagon, getting on the train of being abusive and taking in, their little pennies and coins by developing an opportunity for them also to get exploits off of me. And so they worked within the entertainment industry to go ahead and produce certain type of like films and entertainment, things of that nature, in order to further exploit me and help to circulate around, BBC or whatever like that, any kind of like entertainment shows and communication. With that, Africa also had their hand in the kiddie pool too, but that wasn't until like until later. Basically, Africa was just kind of in an observational kind of standpoint, but it didn't become more like a more of an opportunity for them to become more invested and for people to united in a corrupt fashion until later. So it started out with Britain, then it went into France, and then to Africa, and it's crazy. Like you guys, literally, it was just like it wasn't like slavery was abolished. No, it was like slavery was just sleeping, basically. Like you started that choo choo train right back up again, huh, motherfuckers. You started that choo choo train right the fuck back up, and yeah, so. And now it's like modern slavery, but now you guys are all acting like, I don't know what she's talking about. I don't know what she's talking about. Oh, it's a conspiracy theory. Like, nah, get the fuck out of here. It is what it is. Not it is what it is as in you're forgiven, or it is what it is as in you could just move over this. But it's just like this is what it is. Like this is fucking slavery. This is modern fucking slavery. You guys are doing it could get worse, but it's just like you guys have really taken it upon yourself to be fucking lying, two-faced, vindictive assholes. Not even vindictive, because there was no reason to have had this happen. You guys were literally being opportunists and exploiting a situation. And now you all want to sit down on your ass. So who do you answer to, really? Like, is Britain in that moment where they need to have another fucking war, where they're just like, okay, well then fucking kill her or something like that? Because I know Britain has always been a greedy ass fucking bastard, where you had to like really do the most. Like it's really sad to see that countries had recently had to like get away from you guys because they're just not that into you. Okay, knowingly, they're just not, like, honestly, like from Barbados to hold on, what other ones? But it was just like it should really say something about you. It's no longer we are family. No, it's really, bitch, like we want our own thing. We want our own like da 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 da. But it seems like what is it? France, Africa, and the United States doesn't mind with still having a connection with you because you guys are all in like in a united agreement in order to be capitalists and be abusers, extremely abusive and corrupt, and making it seem like everything's copacetic in the forefront when really it's really fucked up. You guys are really still fucked up. Over time, tensions grew between the colonists. Okay, yeah. Yeah, more control over colonial affairs and clashes over issues like colonial self-governance. British acts and policies. A series of acts and policies implemented by the British government further alienated the colonists. The Stamp Act of 1765, which imposed taxes on paper goods, and the Intolerable Acts of 1774, which were punitive measures against Massachusetts after the Boston Tea Party, were particularly contentious. So yeah, a series of acts and policies implemented by the British government further alienated the colonists. So you wanted to just go ahead and try to so basically America not understanding, like not really respecting your own fucking history, was that you were subject to being ostracized and having the moment where a lot of the shit and every little opportunity, like you were underpaid, you were potentially like in a way ostracized because you're a newborn country. I mean, the country was already here, but like established as an independent. You were a newborn, you were a new founded country under, in the map, on the world map, and so you still needed to develop connections through, pardon me, through Britain, through Europe, and in the trading game and everything like that, because UK still had deep connections and was overseeing a lot of places in Africa. So specifically the trading places. And excuse me, the UK knew that. Well, Britain knew that, so they were just like, you're gonna have to play nice. You have to do this, that, here, and the third in order for us to give you this, like some type of sugar daddy or some shit, like disgusting, or sugar mama, or parent. Like, oh, if you do this, then you get to have the keys and driving night. It's your fucking money. You feel me? Like it's crazy. Like it's wild. But they were really trying to make it hard for you to live. They were really trying to make it hard for you to fucking live, and yet you don't still understand. Well, no, you do understand, but you're just like, you know what, fuck it. Just because that's what happened back in the day doesn't mean that I'm gonna have respect for anybody who else like I harm and put in that same kind of situation. Just like you dumbass motherfucker. So it's just like you you really didn't learn your lesson. How are you trying to advertise yourself as a fucking leader when you have literally been subjected to the same kind of mistreatment, and then you decided to do that mistreatment to somebody else? What the fuck? What the fuck? Seriously. The Stamp Act of 1760, which imposed taxes on proper goods, and the Intolerable Acts of 1774, which repeated measures. Okay, yeah. Yeah, all of a sudden, like you started putting like restrictions and shit. It's like why? Very, very, very wild. All of a sudden, you would do like, all right. So basically, I'm sorry. Britain would do like little kind of shit where it's just like, all of a sudden you had to do this, that, here, and the third in order for you to just basically live. In my personal life, you guys had influenced certain type of restrictions and demands in order for me to live in the privacy of my own fucking home. That's crazy. I mean, it's one thing, at work, even though you guys know that I have to drudge all this shit with me back and forth every single time when I leave the house, but you guys wanted to put in further demands in order for me to adhere to pretend like I'm living a fucking normal life under these unnecessary fucking burdens. Like, yo, y'all so pathetic pieces of shit. Boston Massacre and Boston Tea Party. Incidents like the Boston Massacre in 1770, where British soldiers killed several colonists during a confrontation, in the Boston Tea Party in 1773. Actually, I'll go over this later, but that's just an example of the many ways, because I want to do that in another video. Just an example of the many ways how, you guys were just such fucking hypocrites. Like, you didn't even like learn y'all fucking lesson, yo. For y'all don't learn your fucking lesson. Okay, hold on. Let me go back down here. So when it comes to Black people, you guys, when it came to Black people about, dehumanization, it's really fucking pathetic and weird when you see somebody the same color as you, as darker than you, or even lighter than you, but within the same racial group, to dehumanize you, in order to go ahead and inflict pain that's really fucking unjust. Not only that, but I was a fucking plus to you bitches. So it's like, okay, not only was I the person that you can go to in order for help advice, for money, for a place to stay, for just protection. You took it upon yourself in order to treat me like a fucking utensil or something like that, in order to use, to prop you the fuck up. And you didn't care if it harmed me. You didn't care if it murdered me. Like, I mean, you didn't really care if it at all had to do with my feelings or anything. To this day, black people. This all is a black people. You didn't care. You didn't care. The point that I was even making was this, that, I was over here literally even being a humanitarian and a representation of wanting to not be a minus the black community, volunteering and doing this stuff, not even trying to look for clout or approval or a pat on the fucking back, but everything, like, yo, and you still took it upon yourself, be like, you know what, that one, that's the one that we want to sacrifice. Bitch, the fuck out of here. Some dummy shit, some super dumb shit. So black people really wanted to take upon themselves to do group dynamics and conformity, mob mentality, scapegoating and projection. Black people target an innocent individual as a way to deflect attention from their own issues, insecurities, or guilt. Scapegoating involves blaming someone else for problems within the community and can lead to collective mistreatment. Like, you can see that shit. Oh my god, it's insane. Mob mentality. Like, you can definitely see a lot of that shit when it comes to churches, black churches, and black families. So, bruh, group dynamics and conformity. Mm, 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 mm. Hierarchies and power dynamics. Again, you can see that in black churches and black families, where you can see, like, the pastor, or you can see it within the mom dad group, or the grandma and grandfather, mostly the grandmother, the matriarchy, and just like, I said matriarchy, patriarchy, or just like the matriarch of the family, like, the maternal one, where it's just someone making like the big choices and decisions. It's just insane. Psychological defense mechanisms. Some individuals might use harmful actions as a way to alleviate their own feelings of inadequacy, anxiety, or insecurity. Engaging in mistreatment can temporarily boost their self esteem or distract them from their own internal struggles. Yeah, so people were acting like they were just so fucking damaged, even though they were living. They they saw me at a place in my life where they wanted to knock me down. So they saw me living independently, so they wanted to fuck that up. So they wanted to fuck with my finances, fuck with my reputation, fuck with my credit by trying to impersonate me, fuck that up in order for me to live in a struggling kind of situation. And then on top of that, they took it upon themselves to do offline bullshit to try to harass and intimidate me from like the dark behind my back, so that way they can stop thinking about their own fucked up lives, stop thinking about their own inadequacies because they wanted to compete with me, or because like somebody actually saw me in a good light. Engaging in mistreatment can temporarily boost their self-esteem. And imagine being so fucking addicted and obsessed with trying to belittle me, or trying to criticize me, or trying to be a messy ass fucking bitch. And I'm telling you, you don't have to be black, considering that like who's involved and invested in this shit now. But it's just like, for initially to start within the black community. So for you to be just, a horrible ass bitch, man or woman, and take it upon yourself to make it minute after minute, hour after hour, day after day, addicted to trying to like put me down. It's psychologically like twisted. It really is. There's really something seriously wrong with you. To the point where you become very dependent on having to use every moment of your life trying to still get that boost of self-esteem, where it has to increase every single time. Cultural norms and conditioning. Cultural norms and historical conditioning can influence behaviors within a community. If certain behaviors are seen as acceptable or even encouraged within a particular culture, individuals might engage in them without critically examining their consequences. So with this, I'd imagine that again, if you see this within the music industry, especially if you see it within the rap industry, I'm sorry, with the like with rap music or even like R&B, things of that nature, anything, because I've actually witnessed um within the Black community the affiliations with certain celebrities from beauty industry, fashion, and the music. You guys were thinking like these people were participating in like some really petty ass bullshit, and then you see things like Love and Hip Hop, or like you'll see TV shows like Housewives or whatever, things of that nature, where people are extremely messy, or you see in the background where they're over here still affiliating with you guys, passive, or like they're affiliating with you, and you're in a position to kind of be behind the scenes to watch them to kind of talk to each other and briefly like or momentarily maybe acknowledge you, and you're just thinking, oh my god, I'm so geeked, I feel like I'm in. And then you feel like it's okay for you to go ahead and participate in abusing me, because hopefully by that point, if I should ever try to acknowledge you by like speaking out, or like putting you, trying to put you in your place, like putting you in your place, saying something to you that might get you favor, or yeah. So say that you try to say something in order to try to like, get me to react. And it's for the reason so that way you can get clout, or you can get a like, or you can get an acknowledgement from whomever ass you were just trying to kiss up to, like a celebrity or a government official or something like that. And then they'll just try to like increase it. And then other people who are very low, insecure, low worth, low tier, are taking it upon themselves like, ooh, okay, well this happens, then let me do this too. Okay, then like, then more people will do it, then more, then more, then more, then more, then more. And they'll try to like, up the ante. It's sick. It's really fucking sick. Black people. Black people. I shit you not. Again, I'm not saying all black people, but a lot of them, enough. And by enough, I mean a lot. A fucking lot. So when black people take it upon themselves to identify others by race, creed, gender, employment, it is no different from me to just acknowledge and say black people, because they will take it upon themselves to be like nurses, cops, teachers, housewives, stay-at-home moms, whites, Latinos, Swifties, or something like that. But it's like basically anything, or Beyonce stands or something like that. It's just like it's the same kind of category how, or like identity, how I am explaining black people. And it's so I don't want black people to try to use that as a deflection in order to victimize themselves, because they know goddamn well how abusive they are within the number that they've done this in. But I'm not saying all about black people, but it's just enough of them. It was an overwhelming number. The majority of black people literally took it upon themselves to fucking be fucking corrupt. There's been over 1 million people that have literally invested their lives into being fucking criminal for clout and for opportunities. And literally a like, bitch. I swear. It's so, so sad. Like pathetic sad. If certain behaviors are seen as acceptable or even encouraged within a particular culture, individuals might engage in them without critically examining their consequences. Yeah, they were just like, fuck it. Like, this is going to give me, if other people are doing it, especially people who are of influential status or respected within society, I, as a black person, feel safe enough in order to be mean and harm this innocent woman who's undeserving of being harmed or harassed or even trying to be murdered. Man, y'all, wow. Limited empathy and desensitization. Repeated exposure to harmful behaviors can lead to desensitization and decreased empathy. Individuals might become detached from the suffering of the victim and focus on their own enjoyment or amusement. It's important. Okay, so yeah, repeated exposure to harmful behaviors can lead to desensitization and decreased empathy. So yeah, it's like I said, this has been going on for nearly nearly 2 decades, if not 2 decades. And it's just like, after a while, it becomes desensitizing. If the Holocaust was able for people to literally take people out of their homes under fake ass, well, after papers that they constructed and created. If the Holocaust is just, really a serious, uh, that just, oh my god, I feel like I'm getting chills. It's like if something like the Holocaust and slavery is something where people were literally, yeah, I'm starting to get chills just a little bit. If something like the Holocaust, where during the 1900s, where you saw how slavery was crazy and unjust, but you took it upon yourself with your dumb, stupid ass to, in the 1900s, take it upon yourself to cultivate a reason in order to attack a certain type of group or a spiritual belief, a certain type of group, take them from their homes, from everything, and put them in fucking camps and everything like that, shave their heads, do anything that you wanted to, experiment on them for the fuck of it, and kill them. Bruh, bruh, bruh. It's like you didn't learn. It's like, and what's wild is that you took the book, like you took it from slavery. So you can't be like, you know what? We just don't know. We just don't know. Nine. Like, so you didn't know what the fuck you were doing. Nine. Nine. No, you knew what the fuck you were doing. You knew the fuck what you were doing, and you decided to do it anyway. You took the reasonings. You took archaic, invalid, destructive, um, nonsensical information that was extremely biased. It was unjust and illogical, like totally unnatural situations. Well, actually, I'm pretty sure you can find this in nature, but it's just like, as human beings, you took it upon yourself to go ahead and target a group of people and reinstitute another form of slavery to a group of people and kill them. You took it upon yourself to kill these people. And with that, you're making it seem like it was really okay and that it should be the norm for people to just kind of grow up and be haters. Like, to be haters and kill people based on who they are, based on something that they had no control over. You feel me? Like you could have, like you were literally killing not just men and women. You were killing fucking children. There are pictures of there when I went to the Holocaust Museum and I saw those fucking shoes and you saw the hair, like you saw hair of people who were shaved. You saw the little tiny shoes that belonged to children. They didn't have any choice. Like, they weren't just like, okay, I'm not gonna be Jewish anymore. Like, what the fuck? Like, these were people that were born into Jewish. People were just Jewish. People were like the color of their skin. They had no choice. They had no choice. And it's like, why should you be upset with them because of who they are or what people's skin color is? Like, you really were really stupid at the time. I'm not sure. I doubt. I don't even know about the whole. I know that Germany at one point in time were really trying to gaslight the Jewish people. We're just like, all that shit that didn't happen. That didn't happen. You can't prove it. You can't prove it. Like, they're really trying to gaslight the Jewish people. And in fact, they actually try to gaslight the world about what happened in the Holocaust. Like, if it wasn't for people who had survived the Holocaust to be alive and to tell the tale, they probably would have gotten away with trying to gaslight the world. And it's the same thing with Black people when it came to gaslighting us in regards to slavery. I'm like, well, you know what? You guys didn't like completely like not enjoy it. Like, we gave you some benefits. Like, yo, that's insane. And it's so crazy because it's also being repeated now, where you guys all of a sudden you don't know what I'm talking about. Where all of a sudden you guys are pretending like, like you guys actually, some of you guys actually like me, but you're doing like some nefarious shit in the background. And it's even wild that not only are Black people guilty of this, but also Jewish people too. It's like you guys did not learn your fucking lesson. America, Jewish people, and Black people. But I still want to be on this topic about Black people because these are the ones that are initiated this shit and really took it upon themselves to be fucking coons, sellout, and bootlickers for the oppressor. So limited empathy and desensitization is that you spent over 10 goddamn years in order to go ahead and try to oppress me and be harmful to my life, all for superficial reasons. All for superficial reasons. Things I was actually willing to, share with you guys at a point, but it's just like I don't want anything to do with the majority of the world. I really want justice, and I want the people who might be initiating abusers to be put in prison. And I mean those average citizens, the people who are like politicians and stuff like that, who definitely need to answer to the Supreme Justice, to the Supreme Courts and be tried. But the other people, I want them to be imprisoned ASAP, a fucking sap. Not, oh, we're working on it. Not this whole, and not even this whole Donald Trump delay kind of bullshit and using y'all fucking excuses. No, I want these people like locked up. Like if you need to go ahead and get y'all little evidence and shit like that together, then at least put them in jail for right now and then sentence them to prison. Okay, do a Tory Lanez kind of shit or whatever like that. But it's just like, no, I've been abused for way too fucking long. You have enough fucking evidence to put these people away, and I've seen you through media do this shit to your white counterparts who've literally committed the same, and non-black counterparts who have done, and some black counterparts who have done this shit, and I'm sorry, and black people who've done this shit, who've done, well, not this shit, but who've done equivalent things respectively, crimes respectively. So yeah, these bitches definitely need to be put away, like now. No excuses. Repeated exposure to harmful behaviors can lead to desensitization. So yeah, and decreased empathy. So basically, what's left is just like, after a while, you guys just kind of stop genuinely giving a fuck. So now it's just fake compassion, fake sympathy. It says individuals might become detached from the suffering of the victim and focus on their own enjoyment or amusement, which is why today, to this very day, I bookmarked and I saved videos where you guys were over here trying to tell me to practice more fucking gratitude. Like, bitch, get the fuck out of here. You want me to be fucking happy in the midst of modern slavery. Can you imagine that shit? If it was like, if you were a Nazi soldier trying to tell this to a fucking Jewish person, the fuck? You know what, Samuel? You are not, no, Ishmael, you are not practicing gratitude enough. Why don't you pray to your God and tell him, thank you at the fact that you were living, okay? Not a lot of people were as fortunate as you. I'd be very careful because honestly, things could change. That same kind of conversation could have happened to black people when they were working on the plantations and things of that nature. And an overseer happened to approach, I don't know, Abraham, because all of a sudden, his work ethic wasn't good enough while he was picking cotton. And all of a sudden, it's just like, you know what? I know that you're getting a lot more blisters in your hands and things like that. I know that you're upset because you're getting a lot more blisters because picking cotton does not look fun. There's a lot of a protectiveness over picking cotton where it has like those hard shells and things of that nature where you can actually really like fuck up your fingers. So it's just like, it was a very arduous and strenuous and painful task, obviously. I mean, to be a slave though, but it's just like, having no sympathy and just seeing this as the norm and just being like, you know what, I see what you're doing, I see what you're going through, but like, pick up the pace. Even now, even at the workplace, people will literally have you work 2 fucking jobs. I shit you not. I had came in as a temp working for somebody who had recently retired, and she had supported 2 people. Then in the midst of me getting a permanent position, it was a long-standing transition where I had to do that one person's job for 2 people plus like 5, 6 other people to report to, or not report to, but assist and whatnot like that. And that was happening for at least a few months, definitely. And it was really extremely strenuous. And it was to the point where it's just like, okay, eventually I didn't get extra pay or anything like that. I mean, but it was I didn't get extra pay for doing those 2 fucking roles. I just got, the pay that I was going to get because of the of the new position to just report to the 5 people. I was just supposed to report to 5 people, but supposedly they needed to find one person to take over for the other 2 people. What had happened was they took it upon themselves to just take their sweet ass time because I've that'd be another story. Um, and when that happened, they ended up hiring 2 people to take that one job that I was doing and the one job that the other woman was doing, who was actually also black. Um, they took it as 2 roles, which is not actually now 3 roles. It's insane. It's really fucking insane. But it's just like yeah, modern days, like people sometimes it almost seems like people were trying to trim the fat by or like trying to cut quarters by just trying to be capitalistic and put more money in their fucking pockets nowadays, where things become more dangerous to the consumer, or more dangerous and unhealthy to the consumer, and also more burdensome to the employer. So it just it definitely repeats itself. Like, you guys, if anything, you guys should have been like, sympathetic and compassionate, but instead you decided to take it upon yourselves to be dehumanizing and treat me like nothing. You reinstituted slavery and just made it seem like, oh, this should be okay for you. This should be okay for you. And right now, that's all I wanted to say for right now, because there's literally different stuff that I researched, and so I will get onto the other parts later. But in the meantime, my name is Shalise Mapp, and I am a victim of modern slavery, initiated by Black people, and it has further gotten traction by white people and blacks, and within the global in the world. So yeah, under the Patriot Act and under the Patriot Act and under the watch list, I am literally being publicly surveilled by people of varying ages, variable beliefs and salaries and positions, and this is abuse. This is modern slavery. But we will continue with the next part. The title of this video is called AI and I, and more than likely I'm going to go, it's called observations, but I think I'm going to do observations of the Black community, of the Black initiators. And then I'm going to go into AI and I about the other people that decided to participate in this. Great, signing out. Bye. Also, if you actually do advocate for my freedom, excuse me, which I am supposed to be, obviously as a free person, because I've been unjustly and illegally put into the situation. If anyone is an advocate of my civil rights or human rights, I appreciate you advocating for them, both publicly and spreading the word, and also like allowing me to have justice.